What's going on, people? Welcome to another edition of Every Man is a Millionaire. I wanted to talk to you about something that is becoming more and more evident with the economy. One of the things that I have seen is the segmentation of the economy. Now, what do I mean by that? This jobs report came out and it looked better than what they predicted, like 215,000 jobs. They were predicting 195, 22,000 jobs, let's just say 150,000 jobs, I'll explain that later, were lost due to the retail depression. Now, they didn't count all of those jobs. They didn't count all of those jobs concurrently because it hadn't hit yet, but it will. So that 22 is probably going to translate to 100,000 once the full effect hits, when people in warehouses are laid off, when people in fast food restaurants that are close to these economic distribution centers or these malls are laid off. All of that stuff will come into play. What we're going to have in this next recession is the vast scaling up of the 9.9%. We talk about the 0.3%, which is the billionaires. Then we talk about the 1%, which is everyone that makes over $280,000. Now we're going to talk about the 9.9%. These are people with a net worth of 1.2 to about $2.5 billion. You know some of these people. This is the group of people that are talked about in the Millionaire Next Door. Let's say you're 50 years old, you bought a house, you stayed in it. Your house is worth 400, 500K. It's paid off. Let's say you have 500K in the stock market. You're a millionaire right there. Then you count your possessions and stuff you have and money and savings. So you're probably at that 1.2 mark right there, and you're 50, maybe 55 years old. Are you really rich? You have high net worth, you don't have a lot of debt, but are you really rich? That's a question. That's something that needs to be answered. That's something that needs to be settled, because I'm going to make a prediction. And I want you to understand, remember when everybody was going crazy over Bitcoin? I was one of the few voices that said, don't buy it. It's going to crash. I said this in December. I said this in December of 2017. I also said the recession was coming. December. Actually, I started talking about the recession because I saw the signals swirling about. I talked about that for almost a year. Well, we're upon the last hurrah. If you want to get your business rolling while times are good, now, once again, if you're not in a position to get your business rolling, don't sweat it. You can still get it started. During the recession, you're just going to have to be more on point. But what's happening? This is the last hurrah. This is last fourth quarter before this thing really starts to start spreading across America like wildfire. This is it. For those of you who are in an okay position, for those of you who are potentially set up in a good position, this is the time to make your move. I got asked a question today, and it wasn't a felonious question. It was just like, hey, Glendon, how do I vet you? Question, how do I make sure that you're legit? Fair question. Observe. I have people, virtually every time I give a chat, they're talking about how this course helped them, how the information's helped them. I've had people make 100K a year off the free information. So if you're asking that question, you more than likely are new and you want a streamlined answer. You want something that's going to be wrapped in a nice little box with a bow on it. And I can give you that, but that goes against my philosophy, because I believe that many of the testimonials are contrived and many of them are stacked. And what do I mean by stacked? Let's say I know someone right now that if I was to bring her under my wing, she'd be making six figures in 6 months. Why? Because she's got 75% of the materials, the agreement, the intellectual property, the person, she's got it. She's just missing 25%, filling that 25%. She's gonna start flying. This is what they do to y'all. They stack the testimonials with people who are almost there, just missing a few pieces. So there you are, John, thinking that, hey, you know, they did it, I can do it too. And then you take the course and you spend the money and you struggle because you're not where they were. I've seen this over the last few years. This is why I don't do testimonials, even though they're scientifically proven to work. This is why I let you make up your mind. And if after 9 years and all of the unsolicited testimonials, which I love the best, I don't ask people to do this, I don't pay people to do this, they just pop up and say, wow, man, this has helped me. Oh, I've been listening to you. If you're missing that and you check the body of work and you still like need more, I can't help you. So with that, I say, keep watching. Hopefully you will get the message, and God bless. Because one of the things that I'm very, very proud of, I've been doing this 9 years. I've never told anyone to go in debt to get one of my courses or products. I've never told anyone to quit their job. I've never given anyone any bad stock advice because I live in the truth. I just said, do this, and do this. So if you need to vet me, take the free information and apply it. Well, dude, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do resale. I want to do what you want to do. Now, even though I've said this many times before, the reason I'm doing what I'm doing is because of resale. I got these skills talking to people, running a regular business. You don't want to do that? I have nothing else for you. I'm going to teach you the right way, which is going to be the correct way, which is going to be challenging. I am not going to give you any hustler porn. I'm not going to give you any shortcuts. I'm not going to gas you up and say that you could be a millionaire in 12 months or even 3 years. But I will tell you that if you take action and you start working now, 10 years, you could be a millionaire. Really could. You could be like one of these 9.9 percenters, have a house, paid off, money in the bank. You can be part of that 9.9% of America that controls everything that the 0.3% doesn't. See, the billionaires need to control government because they have conglomerates. They have these big businesses that touch upon EPA, touch upon SARNs, Oxby. So they need to have connections. They need to get certain people elected. But if you're in that 9.9%, which I am, you can kind of float under the radar. You can kind of do what you want. It's kind of like having that space inside the matrix that, like the key maker and the other guy, I forget his name, but they were in the matrix, but they had a world within the matrix. And that's what the 99.9% does. You can get there. It's going to take a lot of hard work. It's going to take a lot of sweat. It's going to take the right equipment. It's going to take the right techniques. It's going to take the right information. And maybe it'll be stocks if you're a stock guy. Maybe it'll be Shopify. Maybe it'll be Amazon. See, everything's on the table. You guys have got to get started. Now, many, many years ago, I predicted this was going to happen in retail. And many people go on the channel, go to the front channel page and put in the search box warehouse. And you'll hear me years ago giving people, don't open up a retail business. Do this. Get a warehouse, work from home, start an online business. And then once you have sustainable, predictable monthly income, then if you still have that urge to open up a store or something, all right, then do it then. But I talked about this. And you want to know what the next wave is going to be? Well, pull up a chair. Let me tell you. We're going to see armed communities. We're going to see private schools with armed guards. Oh yeah, that's going to be a selling feature. They won't be walking around like the Israelis do with, submachine guns. These guys will be in a uniform, possibly a suit with a Glock or a 40 cal strapped to their hip. There'll be ex-military. There'll be, oh no, you're going to see that. And you're going to see gated communities like you've never seen gated communities. You're going to see private security. If you want to get into a business, get into security right now. It's going to be a booming business because the 99.9% and the 1% and the 0, they're going to have money during this recession. They still going to buy the Porsche. They're still going to buy their luxury homes. They're still going to take their trips. Still going to send their kids to private school. So you need to go ahead and start preparing for services and products for that group of people because they will have money. We'll have money all day long. And then also, some of these 99.9%ers are going to move into the 0.9%. These are individuals with net worths of 5 million or more. Some of these folks are going to move over there. It's going to be a lot of these internet folks. I've told you my story. I told you what I'm doing. I told you how I'm doing it. Number one, I have set up this internet business because this is the future. I run 6 channels. You think I'm doing that for my health? I see where the world's going. I see that potentially policy and conduct, if I run it right, I could be interviewing. I'm thinking about the future because the future is so sweet for people who are taking the proper steps now. It's ridiculous. It ain't ridiculous, it's ridiculous. And I plan to cross over into that 0 point something percent. Sure do. And I want you guys to come join me. Because see, if you just get into the 99% during this recession, then you can leverage years later. Because see, what's that saying? The rich get richer, the poor get poor. There's a reason for that. It's a reason. I've seen it, and it comes down to a handful of things. Number one, choice. Number two, delayed gratification. Number three, using your ammunition. Yeah, that's a bullet. Each one of these are bullets. It's not a dollar. It's not fiat currency. It is a bullet. And the more bullets you have in your economic gun, the more shots you can take. The more shots you can take, the more likely you're going to hit something. So if you got a lot of bullets in your economic gun, what? But if you're, and I'm going to talk to some of you business owners because I know some of you listen to me. You got an Amazon business, you got an e-commerce business, you got maybe a car wash, and you're making $500K a year, maybe even $1 million, and you taking out like half or more. Stop doing that. Put yourself on the budget and take these bullets and load them in your economic gun. I've said this before. I don't have a high consumption lifestyle. I live probably on 10% or less of my income because I am shaping up for the future. I'm shaping up for my descendants who come after me to have a better life because this is one of the reasons, and this is starting to change. Let's get racial. You hear all these talks about the wealth gap. What they're doing is comparing the Warren Buffetts, the Bill Gates, the Robert Thompsons to you. And you compare it against, yeah, I mean, that's an incredible gap. But see, the gap isn't that big between you and the 9.9%, which no one's really, we're starting to talk about them. Many white people, due to racism, segregation, Jim Crow, Google this, government mortgage laws that actually said we're not going to finance any houses in any black neighborhoods. This is historical fact. This is, and I don't even like to call it black history. I like to call it American history because it happened in America. So those folks got a leg up. Well, guess what's happened? The dominant class, the so-called white people, they're failing. They're fluttering. They're stalling out. They're committing suicide. They're going on opioids. You know why? Because the system that was set up for them, and it was set up for them. George Washington was white. Thomas Jefferson was white. It was set up for white people. It's falling apart. It's no longer producing the results that it produced. Social constructs, social policy, social changes have changed that paradigm. I'm going to say something, and I know if y'all going to fall out and laugh. As a Asiatic black man with a lot of social and emotional intelligence, I have a greater shot at getting much more wealthier than a white guy of the same pedigree. I know you're like, whoa, what? Look in the numbers. Look at what's happening culturally. Look at what's happening socially. If you are a person, because, you know, right now, there ain't really nobody talking about black people. We're talking about Mexicans, talking about immigrants, talking about, hey, you've noticed that Trump has not really addressed the blacks. Right now, it's kind of like we're hidden. We can move like rangers. So instead of going like, well, Obama didn't do nothing for me, Obama didn't do shit to you. This Trump Justice Department, Jeff Sessions is rolling laws back as we speak. He's signing papers right now today. He is working 24/7 to set us back because he has this false assumption that we can bring white America back. Ain't gonna happen. It's just not. It's not. It's a done deal. They're gonna try to slow some stuff down. They're gonna probably stack the Supreme Court. It's not gonna matter because due to this wonderful medium that I'm talking to you, the internet, a lot of black people have figured some shit out. It's like, oh, I can do this and I can get rich and I can end a lot of the vestiges of racism. Because see, if someone calls you outside your name, that's racism. If someone calls the police on you for doing something pedestrian, that is racism. But it's racism that has no teeth. Many of you are going after these Permit Patty, Barbecue Becky, which I really applaud, and I think that was so cool. Because Permit Patty, she's catching it, right? She's catching all kind of L's. She's catching some big L's. She sells weed, and one of her main suppliers cut her off. But that's just not something worth fighting, in my opinion. You know, if you could fight it socially on the internet and create a movement, cool. But if someone called me outside my name, I just look at them like, but I'm richer than you, and I fuck hotter chicks than you. So go on. If that's all you got, go for it. It make you feel good? You feel better now? You got it off your chest? Great, because my kids are going to be richer than yours. My lineage is going to do better than yours because you're focusing on the wrong thing with your racist ass. See, the truth is coming out due to the internet, due to all of these wonderful things that are happening. People are becoming educated. People are starting to understand that, oh my God, I've been lied to. I'm not as special as I thought I was because see, and that's not like a white person problem. It is an American problem. Many of us, we don't have the skills to compete with these immigrants. We just don't. And that's not inherently bad. But the problem is many of us don't want to learn these skills. Going back to the free information. I got a free audio book. I got some really super cheap courses to get you started. But a lot of you like millennials, I ain't trying to start at the bottom. I want to start in mid-management or I want to start at the top. And unless your daddy or your mama is a millionaire with a corporation that they can say, come on in and work for the family business, you just ass out of luck, player. You gonna have to start at the bottom. Right now, there's an interesting, and Google this. People are creating communes. This was something that was very popular in the 70s, and this is another one of my social signals. You got 15, 22 people who are not related living in the same house. They're putting their money together. They're buying food in bulk. You know why? Because it's too hard to live out here on your own, and the traditional nuclear family has broken down. Unless you're rich. If you are rich, and you're in that 99%, I actually saw a family. They were having some kind of celebration. They all had, God, what are those things that you, in Hawaii, the little things around your neck, they had those on. They eventually had some family event, and there was like 22 of them. And then I saw the dude go up and pay for everybody, and he pulled out his Platinum American Express. That told me a lot right there. See, the 9.9% is still having family reunions. They're still having cookouts. They're still meeting. They're still sending their kids to summer camp. And in these meetings and connections, this is where these kids are starting to network. See, if you can move into the 9.9%, you give your kids a better life by virtue of who your neighbors are and who the kids they go to school with. Those are some huge factors that a lot of people like, I don't want to be around no people. Oh, we need to separate and form our own perfect union in these United States of America. And you know, that's not a bad idea, but see, there's one little problem. It'll take you about 150, 200 years to catch up that way. 150, 200 years to catch up, if you ever catch up. But cross-pollination, integration, learning the lay of the land, learning the legal, the four mandates of the disruptive male, economics, your body, your spirit, and then women. But see, many of y'all got the game backwards. It's women, body, spirit, and then economics, if economics is even on the list. It's completely out of order. Completely. But what you can do, how you can do it, how you can build, how you can create is to invest in yourself and invest in America. Yeah, I said it. This whole notion of we're going to create our own separate perfect union, it ain't going to happen. Now, I want you to understand, I predicted the recession, which hadn't happened yet. I predicted the crash of Bitcoin. I predicted retail depression. See, this is what's going to happen. This recession thing is going to come like a tsunami. It's just going to be like, oh, the water's cool, everyone's doing good. Whoosh. It's going to come like a tornado, a hurricane. It's going to be that sudden, and it's going to be that dangerous because a lot of people are not preparing. They're like, well, times are good. Unemployment's low. I can get a job anytime I want to. That's going to change in the next 12 to 20 months. And it's going to be lugubrious. It's going to be dark. Because see, I predict the unemployment is really about 22%. When you count all the people who have part-time jobs, all the people who stop looking, about 22% of the country can't find a job that wants to work. So we got like 30% of the country that's retired. So that's like half of the country that ain't working. That's a problem. But here's how I see it. You can rail against the social injustices, which you should because it's making progress. But you should also at the same time start stacking your chips and trying to climb into that 9.9%. Because at 9.9%, they dictate local policy. See, once again, the billionaires, they have these lobbyists. They pay millions of dollars a year to impact social policy at the federal level. Well, the 9.9%, they control the local government level. This is why all of these people are succeeding from counties. The wealthiest part, I live in a neighborhood that did that, Sandy Springs. They succeeded from Fulton County and took all their billions, took their billions and they formed a city. Just built a brand new city hall and all this other stuff. Because there's some money out here. And this is what's going to happen. You're going to see this because it's already happening. You're going to see it take fire. That all of the counties, all the rich neighborhoods that can succeed, they will. If the courts let them. Because typically what they want to do is take their money and put it into a school system for their kids, not those kids across town who just happen to be black and Hispanic. That's all. Most of the times. It could be a little, what they call, not me, poor white trash. It could be some of them. But this is going to happen. This is not going to reverse itself. So either you could beat your fist against the table, poke your eye out, or you can get in that 9.9% where your kid can be one of those kids. I hate to break it to you like this. I know we have a lot of, we need to save the world. Ain't going to happen. You know why? Because the people who need the most saving don't really give a damn about their situation. They're happy where they are. Because if they were unhappy, if they were highly dissatisfied with their lot in life, they would facilitate change. They would change their habits. True story. They're okay where they're being. They're fine. And this is why we're going to have a permanent underclass. And if you ain't careful, it can just reach up there and snatch you up. Part of the problem is that many people have this presumption that the United States of America is a fair country. The United States of America is one of the biggest motherfuckers on the planet, if not the biggest motherfucker on the planet. It's a cold-hearted country. And anything that we do that's altruistic is usually in our best interest. This is why we have Social Security. We don't want to be putting a bullet to grandma's head because needs to be put out the pasture because she can't work. That's in our self-interest. It's not for that person. And I do believe we're going to have a basic income. And it will not be for the people. It will be for the government, the 9.9%, the 1%, and the 0.3% to keep the heathens off of them and their kids. That's why we're going to have a basic income. Not because it's the right thing to do. No. There's always an angle. So I'm just coming here to talk to you guys today to give you a wake-up call. To say, hey, you need to get it in gear. You need to really... I know y'all thought I wasn't here. Haha, but I am. That was supposed to go down Friday, but the weekend, and it just got away from me. And it was supposed to go up as just standalone video, but I felt the need to share that with you because this next recession, I want you to think about this, is not only going to be bad, but it's literally going to reshape America. Right now, you already see these things are happening because I live in a gated community, and I will not be surprised. Well, I won't be there, but I won't be surprised in 5 years I drive by and there's a security guard there. Security is going to be a growth industry. If you got your concealed carry permit, you got a clean record, you want to be a security guard, there's going to be so much work for you. If you are a former veteran and you have military experience, there are going to be 100K, 150K jobs. Security, because getting back to what's going to happen with the economy is we have the segmentation, and it's like I missed it and I'm mad at myself, but we're going to have part of the economy that is not going to fall down. It's going to grow. And then we're going to have many segments and sectors of the economy that are going to come together and create this next recession. And one of the things that I'm looking at is you got to be ready now or within the next 12 months, because this is literally going to reshape America and the world, because what happens to us, we export it to the rest of the world. Oh man, y'all got some stuff going on. Oh yeah, the fair thing. All right, Christian. Yeah, because the big thing is we have people who are conditioned to be poor. I did another video on policy and conduct talking about black and white culture. I'm not going to get into it because you can go to the front of the channel and subscribe to Policy and Culture. But I was talking about white people, black people, Hispanic people, fundamentally are about 80 to 90% the same. It is these 5 to 10% differences that keep us apart because we superimpose on those differences huge things. There is culture and there are values. And people who lead with their culture are not going to win. Hispanic man comes here. He does not bring his culture here. He's like, oh, I need to assimilate in this culture because, you'll see a Hispanic town, but they have assimilated into the American experience. And this is they go home and they're Spanish, but when they come out from their homes, they're American. And many people are trying to push their culture versus their values, because if they push their values, we will all be talking the same language. And I see this as being a big, big problem going forward because you have many people who have missed the boat. I normally don't start stuff and say things with other black or white YouTubers. And I'm not going to mention any names, but there's some well-known people who are feeding people garbage. Absolute garbage. Because if you want to be rich in these United States of America, you cannot save your way to wealth. You could potentially invest your way to wealth if you're capitalized and you're smart, which most people aren't. Either they're smart, but they don't have the money, or they got the money and they're not smart. So starting a business and taking care of business on a different level is one of the ways that's going to get you to move forward. It's going to get you to invest in yourself. It's going to get you to a different place, because I am so glad that I did what I did at the beginning of the year. Because let's talk about, I think security is going to be hot. Banking, believe it or not, is going to be hot. Smaller banks are going to close. They're going to be absorbed by these larger banks. And the thing that I said about communes, I am seeing more and more of this because people cannot afford to live by themselves in major cities. That is a canary in the mine, because what happens in the major cities, it filters out to the rest. And that is a big, big problem. Let's see what's going on here. Well, part of the basic income is it's going to have to be in place or you will have anarchy. All right, because let's just go ahead and do the math. Matter of fact, let's go to the magic drawing board. What? Okay. Whoa, that's the wrong place. Okay. So here's the thing. Let's go ahead and just say 80. Oh, really? Okay. It ain't working. All right, there we go. I was like, what's going on? We're going to say 78% of people are poor. But these people are pacified by things. Poor people spend more on fashion and luxuries than other people do. They spend proportionally a larger percent of their incomes. So what happens is they take, when I was talking about the dollars or your ammunition or your bullets. So they take their bullets and they invest them in things that give no return other than an intrinsic emotional return. That's it. And this mass of people is so huge that if they actually started to band together, if let's just say if 10% of the poor people in America banded together, formed a coalition, because 10% is like 30 million people, and they put their money together, they would be within 5 to 6 years the most powerful economic bloc on the planet. But we have an uneducated populace. We have a populace that doesn't understand how money works, doesn't understand how to build stuff. So that's never going to happen. But I just, illustrate. But because that block is so big that if they were to realize that, hey, there's more of us than there are of them, let's go out there and take these rich people's stuff. If that would have happened, and the election of Trump shows how close we are to that people know he's racist, people know that he's doing bad stuff, but they feel that he is fighting for them. So they'll deal with the racism, they'll deal with all this stuff because they felt, finally, someone who's speaking for me. Finally, I don't care if he has sex with a nun on Fifth Avenue. Donald's my dude. That's how bad things are. And if you want to be not part of the poor, you've got to start making moves now. Now. You cannot wait until next year or when you get your tax return. You cannot wait, because let's talk about timing. I started this channel, and it was Glenn 007. It was a storage auction channel. And if I had waited 6 months, I wouldn't have had the success that I've had, because more people would have come into the market. Because this is what happens when you act fast. There's people kind of talking about recession, but not many people are talking about recession the way that I am. Many people think I'm crazy. Many people think, he don't know what he's talking about. The economy's just going to keep going. No, it's not. At some point, it's going to fall down and go boom. And there are going to be a lot of people who are going to be holding the bag. This is why you got to eliminate debt. This is why you need to start hustling and doing stuff you may not particularly be happy about, because if you got some money in the bank, you can pay your mortgage, and you got groceries in the kitchen. That's going to make you very happy in the future. Right now, we take that stuff for granted. In the future, that will not be taken for granted. I actually see, how many of you remember the gas shortages in the 70s because of the embargoes? Because this tariff game that Donald's playing, it could go there because he's reckless, he's uneducated, and he doesn't care. So we could find ourselves in a position where certain things we have in short supply because we get them from our trading partners. You know what we get from China? We get the constituents of drugs from China. We don't have enough serious drugs stockpiled over here because we get it just in time from China. A lot of people are like, oh, they just sell cheap toys. No, we get steel from China, pharmaceuticals. We get a lot of stuff from China. And if there is a prolonged, protracted, nasty trade war, these are some of the things that's going to get caught up. Like these farmers, these soybean farmers, these fishermen, many people who voted for Trump are losing their jobs, losing their businesses, and losing their livelihood. And some people are losing farms that have been in the family for generations due to Trump's policies. I want you to really think about that. We have become so nice that many people don't know how to fight anymore. I know how to fight because I was put in this situation many years ago when I was living in a boarding house. I had to fight with my ex-wife. I had to fight with family. I had to fight or I was just going to perish. So I know how to fight. A lot of people don't know how to fight. And this is why they're so passive, because they know this stuff's wrong, but they don't know what to do. And they don't know where to start. And they're just like, well, hopefully, head in the sand. Hopefully it gets better. It's not getting better. It's going to get worse. It's going to get much worse. But for you guys, if you do the right thing, you can set yourself up where not only are you going to survive this next recession, you're going to come up. You're going to come up. And you're not going to have to be a billionaire. You're not going to have a million. You're not even going to have 100K in the bank. I'm talking about 10, 20, 30K. Your money going to go so far that you can build your family's generational wealth during this period because everything's going to be on sale. People going to be on sale. Office rent's going to be on sale. Except for groceries. Groceries are still going to be high. Gas is still going to be high. TVs, they'll be on sale. All these things will be on sale. So it was never fair. I got all kinds of comments here. Gunji, I don't want things to be fair so I can get more than my fair share. And that's the attitude that I adopted. Stefan, it's better you put up today because a lot of people will have been distracted after the holiday. Now it's a new week. Everybody's ready to refocus. I think there's a lot of truth to that because typically on two of my channels, my views drop like a rock start Thursday night. People getting ready for the weekends. And now, Dr. Funk, I have Grant Cardone's course on negotiating. He said the same thing. The marketplace is not fair. It's brutal. It is brutal. Alvin Hollinger, basic income will be the modern day bread and circus to appease the masses enough to not collapse the system. Because I want you to think about this. Your kid's hungry. Your kid has not had any food, no food for 3 to 4 days. And your kid's crying. And to stop your kid from crying, all you got to do is go ahead and crush in the head of one of these elites and steal their rations. How many of y'all read Crime and Punishment? When men are pushed to a certain point, crime is irrelevant. I got to feed my baby. We're going to have people who are going to have to make those kind of decisions on a daily basis. And this is why security is going to be very, very a boom industry. Kevin Davis, these tariffs are going to screw folks who would do manufacturing work and those who purchase everyday goods. This is one of the reasons that I'm taking everything to an online platform. The hustle stuff that I think will always work, but it's limited that, let's say you can hustle probably to 10 to 15K a month. That'll probably always, but to hustle to 100K, the hustle to 200K, that's going to get very, very hard because what's going to happen is so many people are going to enter the market that, like, when I was in storage auctions, I used to get 10 by 20s, 10, 20, $100. Those same units today, they're $500 to $1,500 with not as good equipment. Let's see. Also, just to let y'all know, I had a lot of people. I'm gonna put it in the comment. You can get 70% off of any course. I had a lot of people. It's like, man, you did it on the holiday. I didn't know. So what time is it? Oh, it's 7:00. So on 7:00 tomorrow Pacific time, you can get your 70% off. We're going to see Diana. Herbert Scott, I'm already noticing certain items are missing from Dollar Tree. What items are those? I'm curious. Ganji, yes, people south of Fresno are losing their farms. Oh. Stefo, you may want to start a Kung Fu channel. I'm probably going to start a fitness channel. I'm going to be very different. Awesome stadium status. Herbert Scott, when everyone else is running out, that's when I'm running in. You're going to be able to get some of your favorite stocks dirt cheap. Cosmic Wisdom. My last recession, I doubled my money income-wise, invested like a maniac. Hong Kong was an eye-opener. I mean, you got to get ready, man. I definitely plan on coming up. I mean, this is what happened to me. I came up during the recession. All a man needs is one bad day. Pretty much. One bad day and a certain set of circumstances separate you from that criminal. And then, once you're in those circumstances, he's not really a criminal. Already invested in night scope. The downturn could be the reason why automation will be accelerated to play. Oh, I want you to think that automation has already been rapidly eliminating jobs. I want you to think of a bullet that's in mid-flight, and then all of a sudden a little rocket opens up in the bullet and it propels it faster. So it's already moving fast, and it's going to be like on steroids. And if you're a person with low skill sets, you're in trouble. If you do not have any knowledge worker, above neck skills, as the Sadiddy folks say, you're in trouble. And you don't know it. Dead man walking. Because all these little jobs are going to disappear. They're going to be replaced by automation. And then with the current administration, and I'll say it, I don't think he's going to last his term. But see, the damage is done. He has stocked the Supreme Court. He has stocked all these lower courts with very conservative people. So literally it's going to take what he's done in like literally less than 2 years. It's probably going to take a generation or two to undo. He didn't have to be in there the full term. He's going to be the bag man. He definitely will be the bag man, but he's not the architect. Robert Braun read an article on the Daily Reckoning by James Richard where he predicts the next recession. Same place I put it, because first of all, there was 22,000 jobs lost in retail, right? Multiply that times 4, because that's the real job loss. Because when the retail closes down, the people who supply retail, they have to lay off too. And they don't factor that into those numbers. If you live in the fairway, I would keep the good bank cranking. No hungry babies here. That's funny. Christian Amen, it really seems like online businesses is the way to go, future hands down. I mean, I think during the recession, you're going to see a big jump in online sales. That's going to be another growth industry. Anthony Johnson, I think we're going to have a lost decade like what Japan went through. I mean, it's going to be nasty. It's going to be nasty. I like that. Sometimes the difference between a criminal and non-criminals are their perceived options. Your baby crying. All you got to do is hit that dude with that rock. Don't kill him. Just take him. I mean, you start rationalizing really crazily when your kids are hungry. This is something else stadium status that's going to happen. When the recession hits, you're going to have tenants breaking into their own units and pulling out the good stuff. Just letting you know. That was happening when I was doing it. Ray Gligton, if you didn't have any auction knowledge or business knowledge and you had to start from nothing today, what would you do in 5 steps? Number 1, I get a job. Number 2, I get a job in sales. Number 3, I would not leave that job in sales until I was making at least 6 figures. Number 4, I would stack my money. And number 5, I would make sure my credit was straight. So you didn't expect that. Because the problem with, and this is a question that everyone who's done well gets asked, like, what would you do if you had to start over? Here's the thing. Once you get this knowledge, there is no such thing as starting over. I want you to hear me on that. Once you pay for this knowledge, once you go through whatever you have to go through to get this knowledge, there is no such thing as starting over. I'm starting new YouTube channels, right? Because of everything I learned from this channel, I'm starting from scratch, but I am typically way ahead of someone who's starting a YouTube channel truly from scratch. I can't go back to scratch and pluck out this knowledge out of my head. I will never be starting from scratch ever again in my life. And that's something that I really didn't think about until a few weeks ago, that once you get knowledge, once you get a certain level of education and business skills, that is yours forever. And you can continue to build and build and build on it. There is no, these folks who lose everything, they never learn how to manage money. If you have earned $2 million in your lifetime, there is no excuse other than a medical catastrophe for you to be poor. None. If you had a medical catastrophe and a lot of money went to bills, okay, I feel you. But other than that, there ain't no reason for you to be broke. There ain't no reason for you to be struggling. There ain't no reason for you not to have a car. Let's see. Oh, he's definitely not the architect. Whoever put this plan together was a reserved person and a person with some humility and a person with a long range vision. He doesn't have those skill sets. Brandon Phillips, I'm an engineer in Amazon and I'm going to start a business in computing automation. Awesome. Not surprised, Anthony Johnson, not surprised. Brandon, a lot of people I work with don't even want to learn. That is a big problem with many people. Easily, I talked about that a lot, Alvin. Class warfare and cultural warfare are pretty much one and the same, because how culture and class is intertwined, and it can be insidious and it can be dangerous, because let's say you feel that you're upper class because you have a degree, but you have no money. Your false narrative to yourself can end up making you actually poor because you don't really realize what's going on. But I think the class warfare is real. And I think the side that's going to win is the side with the money. Those who have the money. I see gated communities. I see private schools. I see kids going to schools with armed guards. I see the kids of the wealthy people. They're going to be fine. And the kids in the 9.9%, they're going to be fine. Most of them. Some of them are going to fall out. But the people, the regular people, the average people, the people who feel because they have a good heart, their heart's in the right place, they help people, they've never done anything wrong, these people are going to be fucked over like you wouldn't believe. I like trucking. There's going to be a lot of regulation and lobbying on that. I'm thinking 15 years. This topic makes me wonder about the symbolism behind current events. I think Donald Trump was put in place to create carnage. I want you to follow me here. He's pissing off our allies. He's doing everything that Putin wants him to do. He's doing everything that whatever his name, the Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel. And essentially, you got to understand how power flows. So if the United States abdicates a certain position they were in, that space is not going to stay unfilled. You might see England hooking up with China. I know it sounds crazy, but it's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. If the United States is not going to fill the role that it fill, then we're going to go somewhere. It's like that girl you dating. Oh, he ain't going to date me no more? Leroy, Jamal, Maurice. That space will not be unfilled. And then once that space is filled, it's going to be kind of hard to go back. It's like, well, you know what? I'm sorry we broke up. Let's get back together again. No, Jamal here now. And his dick's bigger than yours. Sorry. And he's younger. This is the things. Erica Williams, thank you for the $5. Skills matters. Only things during recession matters. Many folks say I'm using scare tactics because they're not prepared. They need to be scared. Because this is why I'm scared. I'm good. But what about my neighbor over here, my neighbor over here? I could be the dude, the elite, where someone's got a rock want to crash my head in because I have and they don't have. You got to think about that. That's just real. Let's see. Hold on. Did it jump? It jumped. Good Lord. Hold on. All right. Lance Brown, depends upon your age should you take funds out of 401k. The recession is only going to last. If you're like 20 something, 30 something, leave your money where it is. Erica Williams, to show the 3% is on point. Inner cities, utopian with wealthy edges with pie. See, this is the thing that if you study history, wealthy people, they don't just disappear. They get wealthier. The Rothschilds, the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church is the wealthiest organization in the world. They've been building wealth and money for centuries. We better hope to have a lost decade like Japan. I just think that, once again, it's going to be segmentation. You're going to have Lori over here who's going to be making 180K. All her friends are going to be making 180K. They're going to be taking vacations, and they're going to look on the news like, what's wrong with those people? They should just work. They should just get a job. I got a job. And Lori's just going to completely ignore that the privileged upbringing that she had, that her father was a doctor, her mother was a concert pianist, and she grew up in the neighborhood with millionaires. She going to completely disregard that, because the way that it happens is like when you get fat. You don't see the fat coming on. You just look up one day and like, oh shit. That's how they grow up. They don't see the benefits. They don't see the privilege. They don't see the hookups, because that's how they grew up. And they're, what's the saying? You can't see the forest for the trees. And they can't see it. I don't care if you point it out. I don't care if you wrote it up in the sky. They just can't see it. And then even if they get a little inkling that maybe I'm where I am because someone did something, whoa, the ego is going to kick in like, that ain't true. I remember when one of the contestants on The Apprentice years ago asked Ivanka if Trump wasn't her father, would she be there? And she bristled. Of course I would be here. No, she wouldn't. No, she would. Couple were making $80K a month flipping houses before last recession. In the last 4 years, made it all back. Skills. There ain't no such thing as starting from scratch again once you have a certain level of skill sets. $89 Dr. Funk. Oh, yeah. White males are committing suicide at an alarming rate right now. Right now. Go ahead and Google that stat. They're doing this right now. Michael Gardner, can you give 3 quick reasons why having good credit is so important? Number 1, it shows you know how to manage money. Number 2, in case of a wildly lucrative offer that you can get in, you need to have some excess money somewhere. Number three, credit, good personal credit leads to great business credit. Pretty much, Stefan. China owns us right now. It'd be very interesting. Robert Braun, McConnell was an engineer. He just didn't think his party would get hijacked by dumb racist rednecks. When it did, though, he sold his soul and hoped on board to get his conservative court. I have a feeling it's going to backfire on them. I don't know why. Anthony, when I see my cousin come up working a part-time $10 an hour job, what I mean is she had money saved and moved from the gutter to the suburbs. I knew I had to get my shit right. This is a good point. Like I talked about in the video, if you own your house, you own your car, and you're wealthier than someone who has $150,000, $200,000 salary, unless they're banking that salary. Rudy Lana, I'm about to be a millionaire. Trump equal happy accident. It's crazy. Rose G, I see a lot of people don't want to read, especially in business. They want to cut corners. Absolutely. Cosmic Wisdom, the rule of thumb is to have 2 years of cash reserves. Man, you got folks out here who don't even have 3 months of reserves. But I feel you. Anthony, how do you feel about 5G? I would not. Anything like that, that's big boy territory. That's Verizon, AT&T. That's going to be hard for the little man to get into. Wow. Y'all are going off in here. Hold on, because I want to get through this. Good Lord, this thing is just like dropping like crazy. Netanyahu, cool. I appreciate that, Stephen. Robert, Russia created Trump and the GOP chose power over loyalty to their own country when they sided with him. As Trump would say, sad. I think that's just going to backfire. I don't know. I'd say 5 or 10 years, depending on how brutal this recession is. I don't have any employees. I have part-time contractors, Ray. Well, the thing is, the have-nots is not the folks in the neighborhood. It's folks who drive through the neighborhood. Big problem here. It's always been a problem here with people taking Amazon packages and stuff off the porches. It's just been common. Rockstone, Evening London, the generals and E9s are must better identify local allies and go through what scenarios we live in versus setting up moats around fortresses and castles. Well, that's the 48 laws of power. Don't isolate yourself. See, what Donald doesn't understand is we have a global economy intertwined with the rest of the world. So this whole thing of we're just going to cut everyone off and worry about ourselves would make us a sitting duck. We got the military, so we could probably ride that out, but at what cost? Rob, I think the recession is going to be 5 to 7 years. Cut that Constantine money. Pretty much. Exactly. My current group of friends in church say that we should just donate to the poor more. Oh my God. The original Lady Pimp, that's true because, see, yes, we're the biggest and baddest single country on the planet. But if China, Russia, and North Korea get together, we got a problem. Which is why I'll get into my other channel. Pretty much. That's why I said if you're like young, ride it out. But if you're close to retirement, this may not be a good time to leave your money in the market. Herbert, that's cold, man. Ivanka would be there, but not as an employee, though. I know exactly what you indicate. And see, she probably would be on her knees for daddy. It's going to be brutal because this is the thing. We don't have like housing, or we don't have a dot-com bubble. We don't have any major industries to pull us out. So once we slide, it's going to be ugly. Debt Jubilee would be hidden in digital assets. This is why I'm trying to build as many as I possibly can. Everlasting Glow, very true about the total disregard of people who don't realize their privilege. I talk with these type of women when I mentor them and find their hand up in life. I get the silent treatment. Well, no one gets to wherever they get by themselves. No one. And some people just totally disregard the helping hand they got. Agent J. Poole. I know, Agent. It's funny. I think it's going to be a bloodbath. What's up, Erica? Up in here again with another super chat. Best stats this year: 20% of all white people 65 years old. The median age of white people in America is 45 years. The old guard is gone. And that's why what's happening is not reversible. This is why they were trying to import little white babies, and that didn't work out. All right. The Black Mirror series is good to watch. Robert Robb this week about a new work truck for my business. Congratulations. And asked if it was cash or credit. I was like, what the hell? I had no idea you could buy a car with credit cards. Yes, you can. American Express, you can call them up and like, look, I want to prepay this or give them to up your limit for a minute. And you can do that. Rudy Long, thanks for the $10. Super chat, LLC, S Corp, salary, dividends, trust. Definitely. I work for a Jewish guy from Morocco, going through a divorce with 2 kids and foreclosure, and his lease on his car ends in September. He might like have 200. What advice? Burn all that shit down, man. I mean, he's gonna hit the wall. He's just going to hit the wall unless he's got a rich daddy, uncle, someone that loaned him some money. CCWMS, thanks for the $10 super chat. All right. So let's make sure my thing is right. So where do we go from here? All right. So the channel's changing. Today I put up content on policy and conduct. I put up why men shouldn't pay child support on disruptive money. Only channel I didn't get to Hustlers Kung Fu, and I didn't get to digital money. I'll do that tomorrow. What we're going to do is get into topics, and I'm going to go deeper in topics. I'm going to go very, very deep, because the reason that I put up this segmentation is this is something you see. And if you do the right things, you could be one of those families who won't be harmed by this recession. I mean, I think there's some value in that, because when you look at the 99.9%, most of you can get there. Aside from health issues and age, most of you can get there. And that's a buffer zone. And I'm going to tell you my theory with that. The 99.9% is a buffer zone for the 1% and the 0.3%, because they're kind of like the wealthy people, or let's say people of means. Let's not even say they're wealthy. People of means who are fighting against the poor people, and you got to go through them to get to the 1% and the 0.3%. So they're kind of like the rangers of the wealthy. And these folks are rewriting laws. They're succeeding from counties, and they're building these gated communities. It's a very interesting phenomenon. Now, just to let you know, I have everything 70% off. I'll send out an email for those of you who missed it on the 4th of July, because I got like crazy emails like, dude, you don't care about us Cali folks. I don't know what's up with Cali folks, but go below, hit that, save 70%, use the code Fresh Start, and we can rock out. What's up, Randall? Appreciate you. $5 super chat. Floyd Houston, my credit is in the 650 range now. Which one of your programs should I buy now to help? You should get 30 days to 2,500. I'm going to tell you why. You need to make more money. You don't have so much a credit problem. You have a money problem. Well, this is kind of like how one of my friends did it. He had the loan at 0%, and he used his American Express Platinum. And then when the bill came due, he used the loan. He talked to the bank. They said, okay, once he got the car, he had to sign the title over to them. He had to go through some extra steps, and then they released the money to him to pay American Express. Oh, Sweet Supreme, AliExpress warehouses in the States. Told y'all that was coming. Blood sport number 1. Wealth is passed down through lineage, and America's becoming a caste system. I couldn't agree with you more. And that's why it's so important for you guys to move your economics, your class, to change your economic class. Because let's just be real. Those who are in the 0.3%, 0.3 will never, ever be poor. Donald Trump, I don't care what he does, he can never become unwealthy. And many people who are in, let's say, the top 5%, there's the 0.3%, those 2,500 billionaires who own 67% of the world's resources. Then there's the 0.5%. These are the folks who are not billionaires, but they live like billionaires because they have private planes and yachts. And then there's the 9.9. You can get in that 9.9. I'm already there. I'm not bragging. I'm not boasting. I've been there for many years. And I'm telling you, you hear me say these stories, and some people get butthurt. You live out in this neighborhood and you think you... No. I know some of my neighbors are racist, but they don't fuck with me. Your neighbors ain't racist in the hood, but they fuck with you and steal your shit. Huh. So have someone who ain't racist who up in your house stealing your shit, or have someone who's racist who waves at you and keeps their lawn cut. Alex, I'm going to take the races for $5. See, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get into this on policy and conduct. Why you shouldn't judge all races the same, because this is what many people do. But we're getting off topic. But back to blood sport 1. We're having an American caste system that if you don't have certain knowledge and skill sets and the ability to move, you're not going to be able to get out of it. I had an upper middle class upbringing, oddly enough, from ages 0 to 11. 2-parent model. I learned to read before I went to school, and that is super critical. All the little kids who learned how to read before they went to school, we were ahead of everyone else. If you are a parent, I don't care how poor you are, if you could teach your little kid to read, know their numbers and stuff before they get to kindergarten, you are ensuring that they're going to be able to make a lot of money in their life. So if that's the least you can give them that. Oh, good Lord. With American Express blew the balance. Man, I'm telling you, we're going to have to do some more chats like this. Alvin Hollinger, most people with money will have to learn to hide in plain sights and live in less concentrated area. Yeah, because, one of the things, this is really interesting. I'm looking at modern houses, right? And all of them have these glass doors. And I'm like, that's just not really secure. It's just not. Oh, y'all got all kinds of stuff going on here. The Zikrit. Let's talk about that. Black America should come together and build Africa for our kids. How many black people do you know how to build? See, I see your vision. I appreciate and understand your vision. But every vision starts with an architect. And every architect starts with some tools. And the tools are organization and community building. And raising money. I don't see those skills a lot. Actually, I see hate and I see people pissing on those skills. Oh, you all about that dollar. Hotep. You don't build communities. You don't build anything without any fucking money. And you got people, Hotep, who act like they're allergic to fucking money. I don't see it. Not to, piss on your dreams or say you're wrong. I think what you have is a beautiful ideal. But when you look at the people and the condition of the people and the skill sets of the people, there are many things that are missing from that equation. Good Lord. Let's see. Randall, got him. Let's see. What is going on? Y'all are really digging this stream. Alvin Hollinger, thank you very much. Much Black America will fade out before it consolidates. Pretty much. I mean, I'm going to just keep it real. There are many black folks, they just white people with, and I'm not saying Oreos. Let's be real clear. I'm not saying Oreos or Coons. They're just white people with tans. There are many black folks. We're all Americans. As much as people don't want to admit that, we're Americans. We have an American culture where we're black, where we're mixed. And that's just it. And it ain't going to change. Like, would I like to go to Africa to visit? Matter of fact, I have. Would I like to go to Africa to live? No. And it's not because it's a bad place or it's unclean or unsafe and all that other stuff. It ain't my culture. I don't know nothing about living in Africa. And even when I had this flights of fancy of moving to London, it was the same thing. It's like, I don't know this culture. It's congested. I don't know the culture. So I wouldn't move to London, and I'm not moving to Africa because I don't know the culture. But if you say that, Hotep, you don't want to be down for your people. You're bougie. You're coon. All they can do is call you names and wave their hands. They can't pay for anything. They can't build anything. They can't support you economically. I posed that question on the other video. Ray, you're going to have to buy that course. You're going to have to use the 70% to get that. Erica Williams, people in Detroit are suing because school's not teaching their kids to read. Once again, if you want your kids and you want to assure them that they will be middle class at minimum, you need to teach them to read before they go to school. Only reason that I'm here before y'all is I knew how to read extremely well in the first grade. I was reading California Achievement Test. I was reading on a collegiate level in the 6th grade. That is the only reason I'm here. Because my grandma taught me how to read. If I didn't know how to read, you know why reading is so important? Reading is the benchmark for all learning. If you read well, you learn well. This is why I can learn shit even though I'm 51. A lot of my friends, they trying to hang this shit up. Got the house paid off. Got the grandkids coming over. Me, I'm still pushing. Alvin, Black Intelligence and Financial Savvy need to consolidate, but they're at odds, Alvin. They're at odds. Robbie Rob, pretty much. I'd rather live by racists that don't bother me as opposed to my brothers who steal my stuff and act shocked when I come home. Like that skit with Chris Rock. You don't know shit because you stealing shit. Well, help you look for the shit they stole. I mean, that's love, I suppose. Cosmic wisdom. Don't believe this black spending power myth. There's a marketing term. Look at the average black family net worth, which is 1,700, and we're going to build with that. I think a lot of those numbers are felonious, and I say this because now I could be a little blinded by the circle I hang in, but most of my friends who are black, they got 20 to 100K in cars that are paid off net worth, and I'm just like. But once again, I am looking at my circle and I'm not looking at the larger community. But I do agree with you. I don't really think that it's going to help. Organic Grow Life. Are you selling that weed, that ganja? Yes, the black market is going to be popping. I need to do a video about primary market, which is the one where you go to Amazon. Secondary market, Craigslist, garage sales. Third market, a little weed. And number 4, the black market, where you can get an organ if you want it. All that's illegal. And it's illegal. Not illegal, which is like speeding, but illegal. You get caught, you doing jail time. Alvin Hollinger, this is the last one. You need to teach your kids to read and think critically, problem solve, learn how to find the cheese when they move it. Pretty much. All right. So once again, y'all have 70% off. Go below the video, take advantage of it, and I'll be back tomorrow at Disruptive Mail. Question: how do y'all like the rapid fire videos? Because I did it this morning. I haven't checked the stats because. The videos are shorter, and what I used to do in an hour, I'm actually going to do 3 videos on 3 separate topics. So just let me know how you like that. Joe Ray, they tried that in Africa uniform cursor with basic telecom. Wow, they killed him. Gaddafi. Black people do that and harness the buying power. God damn. I'm so damn tired of the net worth conversation. Average white person is 45. Average black person, not same stage of life. And also, I really don't care about the net worth conversation because I care about the current worth conversation because you're creating an active business that serves people and makes you money right now. You can't get the net worth until you get to right now. Oh, man. Excalibur, I enjoy the rapid fire videos. Michael Grainer, keep the videos coming. I like these long videos. They don't get people to watch them, man. Ray. Rob, I like the rapid fire videos. I work so much. I play a lot of catch up. I'm actually painting doors as we speak. Wow. All right. So we will see. This is summer programming. There's a lot more to come. There's a few more things I'm going to do. I'll just talk about that in the next stream. So with that, like, comment, subscribe, get your 70%, get your free audio book. If you're a male, join the Facebook Disruptive Male group. There's a lot of good content going there. And I will see you guys tomorrow because we're going to keep it going.